back again. I'm so sorry about that. My stupid computer. But anyways, we're gonna finish talking about the John Cena segment. Like I said, he pretty much just tells Lesnar that if this is really his house, that he's got a stranger in his house. He wants him to, come out and fight. And obviously, Brock Lesnar doesn't show. And and he pretty much just says, I'm going to make history, and I'm going to beat the one that beat the one. I'm going to beat the one that beat the one, pretty much. I think he says something like that. He pretty much says, like, I'm going to beat the one that, beat The Undertaker, pretty much. Obviously, that's what he meant. But, yeah, he just says at SummerSlam that he's going to win, and he's going to beat him, pretty much. But, it was a good segment from Cena. I do like that he brought up the heel thing. I thought that was interesting because he usually, he'll sometimes say like the fans don't like him, but I really can't really remember a time where he actually talked about like when is John Cena gonna turn heel, and like he actually said he was gonna, you're gonna see the John Cena you want to see at SummerSlam, but obviously he's, like I said, he just means he's gonna be more aggressive than usual. But
I've heard him use the phraseology before when he was feuding with Rocky, and he literally turned his heel around and said, "See, guys, here's my heel turn." He did about a year or two ago.
That's funny. But yeah, what did you think about the whole segment?
Well, overall, for John Cena's capabilities, it was what it was. What he didn't hit on is John debuted a new look, a new shirt, new hat. Not wearing the jorts, more of kind of like the khaki shorts, and he spoke on the heelness, and I feel like it is a very good possibility that he and Nikki Bella could turn heel to maybe not together, but kind of build it to where like they're eventually a heel power couple. Which why not? They acknowledge Bryan and Brie Danielson all the time. Why can't they acknowledge Cena and Nikki? So, and there's only one reason why you would have John Cena turn heel at this point. And the internet's been talking about it, Haley, and that is, brother, a possible dream matchup, a possible retirement matchup for the legendary Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan and John Cena. And that matchup makes too much sense not to do it. The history with Hogan and Rock, Rock and Cena, this is the only matchup that hasn't been done. And John Cena is a guy that he can work with Hogan and Hogan's limitations. He's not going to throw a million different spots or some crazy bumps Hogan's way. But in my opinion, Haley, in order for them to do this match, it's not going to be like Rocky Cena where they kind of did them both as baby faces. To me, John Cena has to go heel. Why else would he fight Hulk Hogan? Why? He's not going to fight. He's not going to fight a 61-year-old Hogan just for respect. Fighting Rocky just for respect, that's a different story. But, he's going to come off heel. You already saw when Rock and Hogan fought so many years ago now, over a decade ago. It turned Rock heel. It turned Hogan, who was heel with NWO, into a babyface. So, to me, it's funny. Notice the color of his shirt, red and yellow, and, of course, the culmination of the Hogan segment. We'll talk about that at the end of this show. But honestly, wouldn't be shocked if that's where this is leading. And honestly, with guys like Roman Reigns and Bryan, those need to be your 1 and 1A baby faces, especially if Bryan is to come back.
Definitely. And like we talked about earlier, why the whole affair thing happened was Brie slapped Megan, and Megan pressed charges, obviously, and Brie was arrested, and that was pretty much that. Obviously, Stephanie came out and she said, I'm not going to wrestle you. I'm waiting for SummerSlam, but someone does want to press charges, and, Megan comes out and they arrest Brie. That was pretty much that, and Brie was pretty much humiliated, just like Stephanie, it was the other way around. So they're pretty much, like I said, dead even for SummerSlam. I still think, obviously, Stephanie's going to win because, obviously, authority and, obviously, because of Nikki, high chance of Nikki turning heel. And it's another thing. We did not see Nikki this week.
Not at all.
That was interesting. Thought it was very, very interesting. Are they playing off that she was injured or something from the contract or what? And I thought that was interesting that, they're going to make it look like obviously she's not going to show up and obviously she's going to probably come out right in the middle of the match, act like she's concerned for Brie, and obviously,
The thing was, Haley, is that actually backstage, Nash posted a picture with both Bella twins that made it to Twitter, and it was going around the internet. So she was backstage. It's not like she wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely thought that was weird from last week, from last night, or not last night, Monday night. Next is Dolph Ziggler versus Heath Slater, and now Heath Slater gets another victory. He is on an undefeated streak right now. I am so excited. He deserves it. But anyways, I thought it was funny. No one else noticed this. Dolph was wearing Miz's shirt.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to hype up the feud for the Intercontinental title, so it made perfect sense. Did he make his own writing on the back, or was it the usual
I'm not sure. I didn't really look at the back. I just seen the front. I'm like, that's Miz's shirt. It is funny though because they're actually, I guess they're supposed to be best friends in real life too. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Roman and Ryder are real tight, the three of them. And you've seen Dolph wear Zack Ryder's gear in the past as well. But yeah, interesting. Even though it was a count-out victory, 2 straight wins in a row for Slater-Gator, Heath Slater, beating 2 consecutive Money in the Bank winners on Raws. Quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely, I don't know how, the only way I can see them actually pushing him is if they go through with Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil beating the Usos, maybe at SummerSlam, or for the titles. That's the only thing I can actually see them going with this push, because other than that, what is he going to win? A couple more matches, and then they're just going to destroy him again? Probably. But, this is while it lasts, I think he really deserves a push. This is the first push he's actually getting. It's not even really getting a push because he's not getting clean victories. He's getting roll-ups and count-outs. But, I mean, it still counts. It's still technically a win, especially if it's a roll-up because you're still technically pinning them. But, I mean,
a win is a win.
Yeah. So, like I said, hopefully they actually let him do some more. But, anyways, Dolph tries to give him a handshake, and Heath Slater he acts like he's gonna give him a handshake, and he tries to kick him, and of course, Dolph catches his leg. But I did hear, I don't know if you heard, Heath Slater chant. I'm telling you, people are getting behind him. They have been getting behind him the past 2 months, because when he was with Titus O'Neil on a SmackDown, he was getting chants too, and he was getting a nice pop. I'm telling you, this guy, I think the only reason they are pushing him is because the fans like him. But that's the thing with Zack Ryder. The fans really liked him, and they pushed him for a little bit, and then so I don't know how well this push is going to go.
The difference is Zack Ryder got over on his own by doing the Z True Hollywood Story YouTube show, and then the WWE. If you remember, it was on Zack's own channel, the Long Island Ice Z channel, and then WWE forced him after the first 50 episodes to move it. Essentially, used his show to launch their YouTube network, which is still on the air. And of course, after 100 episodes, we saw no more Z True Long Island Story, and things are getting edited out. So that's what happened with Zack. He didn't get over through their system, so they didn't approve of it. And it's the same thing that half these indie guys go through. As far as Heath Slater, I do feel like he actually got a push. If you really go back into the beginning of his career with the Nexus, I felt like he was probably booked as the third guy in the Nexus behind Justin Gabriel and Wade Barrett. Him and Justin Gabriel were 2-time WWE Tag Team Champions, even with the 4. And after that, Heath Slater just started going downhill. If you remember the countdown to Raw 1000, he was losing to legends like Vader and Lita and DDP and Sid Vicious. So, I mean, he had even lost to Zack Ryder in recent months. So for him, I feel like the fans are trying to send the message to the WWE. We want competition. We don't want to see these guys just wasting away and lose for 3 years in a row. It's ridiculous. They may not even like Heath Slater. I don't know if they do or not. I mean, I kind of like him, but it's just like it's almost like Swagger and Cesaro and Ziggler and Ryder. I mean, we could go down the list. Guys like Kid and Gabriel down in NXT. I mean, we're just sick and tired of seeing these guys lose and lose and lose. It should be a competition. It shouldn't just be like the predictable guys win and the jobbers lose, and it just keeps them in jobberville. It's sports entertainment, not just entertainment. Make it look like a sport. Make it look like anything can happen. Make it look like it's unpredictable. And that's what they're doing with Heath Slater. And I feel like also since they cut Jinder and Drew McIntyre, the fans have been a little bit more sympathetic towards him because it's like, what more can this guy go through?
Definitely. I would like to see Heath Slater do a single career because he really hasn't been having a single career, you know. So I would like to see him actually have the U.S. title or something like that, you know. It'd be nice.
When he was on NXT before the Nexus storyline, people thought he was going to be the next Edge.
Oh, man, that would be awesome. He's not a bad wrestler like everybody, you know, thought he was. Like, once that he actually shows his wrestling ability, you know, he actually can do quite a bit in the ring, you know, and he's you know, if they actually let him, you know, talk more on the mic, you know, he can be a very good, decent mid-carder, you know. I don't know why they're just, it's just.
Do you watch the JBL and Cole show, Haley?
Sometimes.
Do you like his work as JBL's cousin or whatever on there? Like,
yeah. Yeah, he's definitely very entertaining, very funny. I've liked him since I first seen him in NXT. I've always been a fan of him. I've always believed in him. Randy Orton versus Sheamus, and of course Randy wins with RKO.
I mean,
he's been out for a little bit. I guess he was sick. He got the flu or something like that. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with him with the U.S. title. You said that, obviously, Rusev maybe. Hopefully they do something. Because Sheamus, just him holding the U.S. title. If it was the Intercontinental, because the Intercontinental's, you know, a little bit higher than the U.S., maybe it would be a little bit believable. But when he's holding the U.S., it looks like he just went down so much, you know, because he was first WWE champion and then world champion and then completely went down under. It's just like he would be better off not having a title. That's what I would think. Because it just making him hold that U.S. title just makes him look just so. I was shocked when he beat Dean because I was just like, they're really going to give Sheamus the U.S. title. I'm just like, I do not like this. This is not good. And I like Sheamus. I'm a fan of Sheamus, but it's just it looks way too weird on him to have like the lowest mid-Carter belt, and it's just it just doesn't work for me. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, Sheamus, to me, I mean, Del Rio recently obviously is gone, but, like, I put Sheamus in a category with Miz and Del Rio in that they were all pushed in the main event scene kind of around the same time. Clearly, WWE was desperate to try to force to make new stars instead of looking at guys who were getting over like Punk and others and kind of naturally letting it happen. And, you know, since then, they've almost done everything you can do in the WWE and just crashed and burned. Look at Sheamus' resume. 2-time world champion, former WWE champion, former Royal Rumble winner, former King of the Ring. I don't know if he's won the IC or not, but he's a 2-time United States champion. He has held the U.S. in the past. So what if he ever wins the Grand Slam winner? So he's done it all, but it's to the point where there's nothing else for him to do. Now, I'm hearing rumors that he may be playing Darth Vader in the new Star Wars series that Disney is going to launch, the new Star Wars movies, the final 3 Star Wars movies that Disney is going to do. Now, Darth Vader obviously perished in Star Wars 6, so I don't know if you got to do, like, have him just, like, come in as a hologram, like some of the other dead characters. But that's the rumor, and quite frankly, I don't know what I hate more, Haley. Him beating Dean Ambrose and holding the U.S. title, or him being Darth Vader. Ugh, fella.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. And it's funny because they're still having him that he really hasn't ever been a jobber yet, but I feel like they almost are going to probably put him as a jobber pretty soon
Well,
because he just keeps going down and down and down. Slowly but surely he just keeps going down.
and you want to know what else is funny? I feel like the beginning of the end for Sheamus was his infamous 18-second world title match with Daniel Bryan. That's when the fans had enough. They were so pissed that Daniel Bryan got screwed that Vince McMahon thought that, like, Sheamus beating the hated, because let's forget, at that point, Daniel Bryan was actually a pretty over heel, bullying AJ and all this stuff. They did the thing where AJ kissed him, he lost the bro kick for 18 seconds. But what it did was it did the opposite of what they wanted to do. It launched Daniel Bryan's Yes movement the day after the Raw after WrestleMania is where it all started. They were doing the Yes chants during Cena's promo. I purchased the Raw after show DVD. They showed Daniel Bryan's match on the post Raw, and the fans were just, we want Bryan. That's really where the Yes movement really started culminating, and really where Sheamus' career started crashing and burning. It's really unfortunate because Sheamus is a good talent, and Sheamus, you know, when he was in NXT, ECW, early WWE, pushed so strong. But now it's just, he's just another wasted asset, like a Del Rio, like a Miz. And I don't know if there's any hope for Sheamus, young fella. I really don't.
He really needs a heel turn. That's like the only thing that can really save him at this point is a heel turn, I think. I really do. I think he needs a heel turn. But anyways, the last segment, Hulk Hogan's birthday. Oh, yay. And I don't know if I told you guys this before. I do not like Hulk Hogan. I never liked him. That's just my opinion. He's like The Rock. I just don't like him. But anyways, pretty much everyone comes out. Ric Flair comes out. Roddy Piper comes out. Scott Hall comes out. Kevin Nash, so NWO. And Mr. Wonderful. I don't know who Mr. Wonderful is. I probably need to watch WrestleMania 1. But, it's kind of bad that I haven't watched it yet. But, yeah, I don't know who Mr. Wonderful is. That was the only person I didn't know, obviously. But, it's pretty much just all come out, celebrate, and everything. And then Brock Lesnar comes out and interrupts it. I was actually excited when Brock Lesnar came out. I thought he was going to attack Hogan, and that would have made me happy, as mean as that sounds. But obviously, Cena comes out and saves him, and Brock leaves the ring, and they celebrate, obviously. And at the after show, I guess later in Titus O'Neil brought the cake in, and it fell all over him. Of course, Heath Slater, another comic gimmick. But what did you think about that whole segment?
Well, first of all, I mean, obviously, I think I date you a little bit in wrestling history. So for me, these are all guys I grew up with. I loved the NWO. I'm not a huge Hogan fan, but when he turned heel in the NWO, I mean, I respect Hogan. Hogan is the Babe Ruth of wrestling. There would be no WWE without Hulk Hogan. I mean, his run in the 80s helped launch WrestleMania, helped launch what the WWE is, and to be the Mount Rushmore, and this doesn't mean I'm actually more of a Macho Man fan than Hogan, always have been, always will be. Ooh, yeah. But, look, the Mount Rushmore of really people who have been the faces of wrestling for WWE, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, Steve Austin and The Rock, and John Cena. It's a very short list. And Hogan deserves that. It's ironic because it was Hogan's 61st birthday, really kind of an insignificant birthday. But obviously with him being back, him being in TNA for years, it gave him an excuse to kind of trot Hogan out, bring out the legends. It was cool to see Flair, although Flair is just looking more and more like just the age is catching up with him. When the Outsiders came out, I'm definitely marked out. Love Nash and Hall, but it's rough seeing Nash and Hall at this point. I actually shared a meme that said New World Order. No, New World Older.
Yeah, they both looked pretty bad.
Yeah. And as far as Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, he was a high mid-carder in the 80s. Many people remember his work with Rowdy Piper and Randy Orton's dad, Cowboy Bob Orton. He was kind of the third in that little trio, that little heel trio there that would go against Hogan and Jimmy Snuka and the Rock and Wrestling Express and all of that. Mr. Wonderful did turn heel and turn face a couple of times. He was kind of he was kind of like a better version of Chris Masters, to tell you the truth. Like a big guy, strong guy, not very for the 80s, wrestling was different, but I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, and he's a good friend of Hogan. I was surprised we didn't see Big Show come out. Big Show and Hogan are very tight. I was actually hoping to see Big Show come out because him and Hogan are tight. And for God's sakes, I know that they're probably holding him off TV until January to mean something, but wouldn't it have been a perfect opportunity for Sting to come out, especially with the NWO, with Ric Flair? I mean, they're hyping the WWE Network. Even if Sting were to come out for a few minutes and then the lights go out and he's gone, I mean, just to have the NWO and Ric Flair and Sting in a WWE ring, God, I missed an opportunity. But overall, it was cool. It was nostalgic. You know what I mean? People can say, well, why didn't they wait till Hogan's 65th birthday? You know what? We've seen in the past, you just never know how long these guys are going to be around. Look at Macho Man. For God's sakes, look at Ultimate Warrior. And it's a shame both of those guys couldn't have been there. Because obviously, when it comes to the Mount Rushmore of the 80s, it was Hogan, Macho Man, Warrior. No one else. So, you know, it was sad not having Randy and not having Warrior there. But overall, you know, nostalgic for me, being a fan of the 80s and 90s. And Haley, this isn't as bad as DOS not knowing who Jake the Snake Roberts is, but go watch the 80s DVD, the best superstars of the 80s, and go watch the Rowdy Piper DVD, and you'll learn more about.
Well, obviously, I know who like the top guys are. Like, I obviously knew every single person except for Mr. Wonderful. I just never heard of him before. Like, I mean, when I said that, like, people didn't think that it was that bad of a thing, you know? It's not like not knowing Jake the Snake Roberts.
But when he was a wrestler, he looked like Chris Masters. He was big. He was jacked. You know what I mean? Now he's old. He's feeble. He's got that weird little porn stash. So obviously he looked different. It was cool him coming out. I didn't know what his music was. That's one thing I will say, and I was not feeling his music. Ugh, so annoying. I would have rather had Dusty come out and some of the others. But overall, it was cool to see the NWO reunion. And then obviously Brock comes out to make the save. You know what's funny is when Brock comes out, there was a still shot going around and some memes going around. Eva Marie's face looked like she had gotten soaking wet in her pants when Brock Lesnar came out. Because everyone else was like, oh my God. And Eva Marie's like all smiling like a freaking kid at Christmas when Brock comes out.
That's pretty much how I was too. Because I don't like Hogan. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
But I'm telling you, Lily, you saw John Cena come out, and what color is John Cena wearing now? Red and yellow, brother. I think that Cena, I don't know if it's going to happen at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be a little bit slower burn than that. Maybe Royal Rumble, maybe Survivor Series.
Yeah, I have a feeling he might turn at Night of Champions. I think he's going to lose, and then he's going to and then he's going to lose again, and that's probably what's going to turn him. I think probably Night of Champions.
He loses to Lesnar clean at SummerSlam. He gets the rematch of Lesnar at Night of Champions. He loses. Hogan comes out, tries to console John Cena. Like, brother, I've been there. And, you know, they talked about it. If you haven't seen the footage of Brock Lesnar destroying Hulk Hogan in 2003, you'd probably enjoy it.
Oh, I have. That's when when I started watching wrestling like a year before that.
I mean, so to me, Hogan can come out, console Cena, like, hey, brother, I've been through Brock Lesnar. I know he's an animal, and it's okay, brother. And that could be the perfect ammunition, boom, to have Cena turn on Hogan and start the build for Hogan versus Cena at WrestleMania. It needs to happen.
Definitely. Because Hogan, it's kind of like the Shawn Michaels thing. You know, he wanted to be face during that, and he wanted to, be put over and everything like that. So Shawn obviously had a heel. So obviously, I don't know, like, who would they want more as a face, Hogan or Cena? I think they would probably want Hogan more as a face. So
it makes sense to book because the sympathy is going to go to Hogan, and we've already seen this with Rock Hogan. Fans are going to get behind Hogan because he's such a good guy. And in this match, if it's against John Cena, they're going to root for him. John Cena's probably going to beat him, and if John Cena beats him, it'll even make him a better heel. So, to me, this is what needs to happen. This is the only way John Cena can turn heel. I don't even see another way he can. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, Raw was, it was, I don't know. I thought for the night before, the week before SummerSlam, I think it could have been better. But usually the Raws after the pay-per-view are better. But it pretty much just finished up the feuds and finished up, getting ready for SummerSlam and everything like that. So it was average. It was pretty good.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10 for a go-home show. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that sounds about right. 7 out of 10. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe to us and follow us on Twitter and like our group on Facebook. I will put all the links in the description, and also check out Joe's channel. I will put his channel in the description.
And real quick, coming up tonight after we do our SummerSlam preview, you can stay tuned to the channel. There's been a whole bunch of videos posted in the past few days, including my Ice Bucket Challenge and some stuff from Patriots Training Camp. I did a video on John Lester's impending free agency coming up today. But I'm going to have a bunch of videos coming up, including the DVD review of Ladies and Gentlemen, My Name is Paul Heyman. That's going to be up there tonight. You're going to get my thoughts on the controversial suicide of legendary comedian Robin Williams. Also my thoughts on the controversial incident of Tony Stewart killing another driver this past weekend at the NASCAR event. Also a compare and contrast video on Rob Van Dam and Y2J Chris Jericho. And if I have time, I'm going to talk about how the choke slam has been devalued. So a lot of videos coming, hopefully in the next 24 hours. And we got this, so watch this and the SummerSlam preview show coming up, brother.
This has been Wrestling Third On, and I will see you on the next one.